This didn't start with a diss track. It didn't start on Instagram. And it definitely didn't stay inside the music industry. Prosecutors, reports, and street conversations all point to something deeper. A timeline that starts in a crowded festival parking lot and stretches across years of tension, loss, and retaliation. One night in Miami, shots rang out in a space packed with fans. Months later in Detroit, a vehicle was ambushed and someone close to the situation lost their life. Then came public run-ins, silent responses, and a pattern that people started connecting piece by piece. By the time the internet caught up to it, the story was already written in real life. And depending on who you ask, the scoreboard doesn't look balanced at all. Rolling Loud 2019. In 2019, Rolling Loud Miami was one of the biggest events in hip-hop. Thousands of fans, dozens of artists, and a lineup filled with some of the most talked about names in the industry. On the surface, it was just another festival weekend, but behind the scenes, tension had already started building. There were already whispers about issues between people connected to T Grizzly and individuals tied to NBA YoungBoy's circle. Nothing public, nothing confirmed, but enough for people close to the situation to feel that something wasn't right. Then everything escalated. Late at night, in the parking area, shots were fired. The environment shifted instantly. Panic spread through the crowd. People started running in different directions, unsure of where the danger was coming from. Security scrambled, but the damage had already been done. K. Marie, someone connected to YoungBoy's camp, was shot. An innocent bystander lost their life in the chaos. And just like that, the situation crossed a line that couldn't be reversed. Authorities stepped in quickly. NBA YoungBoy was later arrested in connection to the incident, and the story spread across headlines nationwide. For many people, this was the moment they first heard about the tension. But for others, it wasn't the beginning. It was just the first time things became public. In the streets, people weren't just reacting to the shooting. They were asking deeper questions. Who was the intended target? What led up to this moment? And was this connected to something bigger? Nothing was clearly answered, but the energy changed. They took his aunt. 3 months later, the story moved from Miami to Detroit. No festival, no stage, no spotlight, just a car driving through the city. A T Grizzly was inside that vehicle, moving through Detroit like any other day. Sitting behind the wheel was his aunt, Jobina Brown, someone who wasn't just family, but also his manager. She had been there through the early stages of his career, helping guide him through the transition from the streets to the music industry. Then, without warning, another vehicle approached. Shots were fired directly into the SUV. It wasn't random. It wasn't accidental. It was targeted. But the outcome changed everything. Jobina Brown was hit. She didn't survive. And in that moment, the situation became something far more personal. This wasn't about artists or music anymore. This was family. The impact of that loss went far beyond headlines. It shifted the emotional weight of everything that had been building up to that point. For T Grizzly, it wasn't just another incident connected to industry tension. It was a direct hit that changed the trajectory of everything. In the streets, people started connecting the dots quickly. The timing felt too close. Rolling Loud, then this. Conversations spread, theories formed, and narratives began to take shape. Nothing was officially confirmed linking the incidents. But in environments like this, perception matters just as much as facts. And once people believe there's a connection, the situation takes on a life of its own. Sada Baby pressed his brother. As time passed, the tension didn't disappear. It just evolved. At some point, Sada Baby, another major figure coming out of Detroit, crossed paths with OG33, who is known to be NBA YoungBoy's brother. This wasn't planned. It wasn't staged. Surely it was one of those real-life moments where two sides of an ongoing situation end up in the same space. And when that happened, there was no ignoring it. Sada Baby reportedly approached him directly, closing the distance and making the interaction impossible to avoid. The energy wasn't friendly. It wasn't casual. It carried weight. It felt like pressure. Not the kind of pressure that gets handled in interviews or social media posts. The kind that happens face to face. After that moment, things didn't cool down. Instead, they became more public. Sada Baby went on to make statements and comments that made his position clear. There was no confusion about where he stood. The message was direct, and it reached a wide audience quickly. What stood out just as much as the confrontation itself was the response, or the lack of one. None. OG33 didn't respond publicly. No videos, no statements, no escalation, just silence. And in situations like this, silence gets interpreted in different ways. Some people see it as discipline, others see it differently. But regardless of interpretation, one thing was clear: the tension was still alive. YoungBoy won't even come to Detroit. By 2025, a pattern started becoming impossible to ignore. NBA YoungBoy was one of the biggest artists in the world at that point. His reach was global, his fan base massive, and his tour schedule covered major cities across the country. But one city kept missing from the list: Detroit. Fans started noticing. Not once, not twice, consistently. No shows, no appearances, no performances. For an artist at that level, skipping a major market like Detroit raised questions. People started asking why. Was it scheduling? Was it business decisions? Or was it something deeper? There was never a direct explanation. But when you look at the timeline, it becomes harder to ignore the context. Rolling Loud, the Detroit shooting, the public tensions, everything that had happened before started to feel connected. In the music industry, movement is strategic. Artists go where it makes sense financially and logistically. But when a city is consistently avoided, people start reading between the lines. Whether it was caution, strategy, or something else entirely, Detroit wasn't on the route, and that didn't go unnoticed. Put on life support. Then came one of the most serious developments in the timeline. Reports began circulating about an incident involving Ben 10, someone closely associated with NBA YoungBoy. And the situation quickly gained attention, not just because of who was involved, but because of how serious it reportedly was. According to what was being said, the situation involved All-Star Jr. What started as an alleged dispute escalated quickly. There were claims about a chain being involved, something that might have triggered the entire situation. In environments where reputation and respect carry weight, even small incidents can escalate rapidly. And then it happened. Shots were fired, Ben 10 was hit. The reports that followed described the situation as critical, with mentions of life support. Social media reacted immediately, with different versions of the story spreading across platforms. Some people tried to piece together what actually happened. Others focused on the bigger picture, connecting it back to everything that had come before. Then J. Prince Jr. stepped in publicly. He posted on Instagram, addressing the situation and attempting to bring clarity. His message was seen by many as an effort to control the narrative, to slow down the speculation before it spiraled further. But by that point, the situation had already reached a level where public perception was moving faster than any explanation. And once that happens, the story becomes bigger than the facts. Is this really one-sided? When you step back and look at everything together, it's hard to ignore the pattern. Multiple incidents, different locations, same names coming up again and again. Each moment added another layer. Each situation pushed things further. But the real question isn't just what happened, it's how people interpret what happened. And some see it as Detroit applying pressure over time. Others believe the story is more complex than the scoreboard makes it look. Because in situations like this, there's always more happening behind the scenes than what the public sees. What gets reported is only part of the picture. What actually led to each moment, that's something only a few people truly know. The scoreboard speaks like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below. Because at the end of the day, this story isn't just about music. It's about everything that happens when music, streets, and real-life consequences collide. And one thing is clear, it didn't end in 2019.